right.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I actually chugged my old beer.
Whoa. Your whole beer, I just chugged that whole, look at this. I chugged that whole pitcher.
You're so full of
Were you
shit.
even watching? You never watched me, Britton. You never watched me.
No, I watched you with the little finger left. I'm destroying the myth. I'm a myth buster.
Don't hate the
It's a show.
Look, don't hate the mic, hate the pain, all right?
I came to
Moving
bring
right
the pain
along.
down the same.
Welcome, everybody, to Gearwire Crosstalk, show or program.
Thanks for tuning in.
Episode number 31. The big 3-1, and as our own Rob calls it,
Holy crap.
Nice
Holy
gravel
model in
anniversary.
bed.
crap.
So, big faker.
Gravel anniversary.
If you wonder why we're doing that in the bar here, it's because this is a special number for us. 31 is a big number. It's bigger than 25. It's bigger than 50. 31 is the gravel number
never
for
see
us.
it coming.
Give me another drink.
So we're proud. We've, if you can't tell, we've actually been drinking a little
Paul.
bit, but that's okay. We've got a big episode of Crosstalk ahead of you guys. First of all, we had some wonderful viewer mail we're going to read for you from one of our loyal viewers, and we answer some of his questions. After that, we move on to check out the lovely Gibson Blues motherfucker. And moving right along from that,
That's the blues motherfucker.
and yeah, you can put that on the screen as well. Are you gonna do that, Kyle?
I don't know what it is, really.
Okay, cool. Kyle's gonna do that.
L00 for Christ's sake.
That's what I said. It just came out wrong.
Remake of a very popular.
And we're going to end it with
Thank you,
a little bit of reminiscing from a previous show, show number 11, which was our aluminum show. Again, this is our gravel show. This is going to be a bad show. You guys can already tell, can't you? Well, what can I say? It's going to be a lot of fun. So stick around. If you can, if you're at home, grab a drink.
Maybe
If you're on the road, grab a double.
we should do a second take.
Otherwise, this is going to be a fun show. So stick along. And before we get started, we're going to do a cheers to all of our viewers who have made this possible for so far so long.
This one's going down the hatch.
So smart.
We're going to spill some beer on the Mac right here and some on the Gibson.
I'm going to keep it on my lap.
All right,
for no
fellas, here you
reason.
go. Uh-oh, Drew's starting ahead of us.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Come on, gentlemen.
Couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Hey, man.
Well, I did just drink that pitcher.
It's in the blood, man, you know.
Oh. Dude, I just
I don't know what to do
I just
now.
chugged a pint earlier with fucking Smarty Pants, man.
Hello, Rachel and other female viewers. My name
How'd
is
you know
Mike.
my middle name was fucking.
There's two
This is
Rachels
Britton.
that watch this show. They're both
This is
named
Dan.
Rachel.
And this is, what's your name
There's
again?
No, I'm not.
There's only two
This is
women
true.
who
No,
watch
I'm
this
not.
show.
So anyway, we're sloppy. We're going to get sloppier as we go on. So watch, enjoy, and have a beer alongside us.
Man, I'm
Thanks,
just
viewers.
fucking turning around at this point.
All right.
All right, before we get started on this first part, just want to let you guys know that actually the way that we work this whole thing is we actually do the intro last. So we will probably be progressively more drunk at the end, which is actually the beginning. So it's kind of an existential,
So, yeah, we were just drunker than we are right now.
Yes, exactly. So
That's-
right now we're totally
that's fine.
sober.
That's fine.
Totally sober.
We just got
Anyway,
here.
back to this wonderful letter we got from a Mr. Sam. It's quite a great letter, quite a long one. He asks us a lot about computer recording, and basically Sam is someone who comes from a different background from computer recording. He comes from a more traditional guitarist background. He kind of wants us to walk him through, some of the ways that maybe we got started in computer recording and some of the ways that he can kind of assimilate to the things that we talk about on the Crosstalk
Southern?
show or program.
I'm not sure, but he is a PhD.
Yes, he's going for his PhD. In fact,
English or
I'll read his introduction. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Go ahead.
I just think with a name like Sam, he should be like, I picture Confederate flags.
Woo!
I don't think Sam's going to appreciate that.
Sorry, Sam.
I'm not
Yeah.
apologizing. Sam.
I'm defending you, Sam. Anyway, dear Crosstalk, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself because my sense is that I'm pretty typical of the people who read or watch the stuff on Gearwire. I'm in my early 30s. I've been playing and recording music for about 20 years. I'm in a band that practices twice a week and plays out about once a month.
Damn, that's
in
a
my
lot.
real life, I'm a graduate student working on a PhD in English. That's impressive. Although I think your real life is your musicianship, which is pretty impressive itself. 20 years in making and recording music is pretty impressive to me. Basically, he goes on to tell us a
What the
little.
questions, yeah.
Oh, I'll get to those. He goes on to tell us a little bit more about himself and about how he wants to get a little bit more familiar with the stuff we talk about related to computers. So I'll go right on to the questions. First, Sam asks, if I wanted to get a computer to record on, what would I buy? would I get a high-end sound card from the manufacturer, or would it make more sense to buy a really high-end sound card from somebody who specializes in them? How much memory would I need or want? What do I do to buy, do I buy a Dell, and what do I buy later on from Sam Ash, Zounds, or Musician's Friend?
Okay, well,
We're going to take these one at a time?
yeah.
All right, that's good.
Well,
That's good. Go
my
ahead,
thing
Dan.
would be
Actually, before we start, you guys are all computer recordists, correct?
I wasn't paying attention to the question.
Of course you weren't, Britton. Of course you weren't. What do you use, Britton? Do you have a computer?
Yes, I do.
And you use
I've worked on an array of systems.
okay.
I
What do you
prefer Pro
and right
Tools.
now? Okay, Pro Tools and on Mac or PC.
Either.
Okay.
Actually,
Gotcha.
I prefer either. But if I'm going to do more audio intensive stuff, I'll probably lean and actually rent something like an HD rig.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
And Dan?
I do both PC and Mac. I grew up doing Cakewalk on PCs, and now I use
Okay.
Sonar 6. That's my favorite.
Nice.
Then on Mac, I use Logic. It's a good program for a lot of things. I have Logic Pro 7.
Steep learning curve.
Yeah, steep learning curve. There's a lot of goofy stuff. For example, the length of a project is set to the number of quarter notes. It's
a good thing to know.
It's a discrete. You can only have such a long, project at a certain tempo, and it's kind of odd. But yeah, that's my thing. Those are the
Okay.
things those are the programs I use.
What do you use
We'll
at
get-
home? PC or Mac?
PC.
Okay.
Sonar.
And Drew?
I've used both Mac and PC, all sorts of different programs. Currently, I'm using a PC, actually an HP, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Mainly because of my budget. And
I didn't think you were lying, but go on.
I think you're lying.
You should come over sometime. It's very sad. Anyway, we're currently running Nuendo, and it happens to be my new favorite program to run.
That's like the flagship Steinberg.
Yeah,
right?
it's just like Cubase, except you can do a lot more with it as far as video, and that's something I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
So I figure that's the program I need to learn, and in the process, totally fell in love with it. It's a great program.
Cool.
Personally, I've been on a Dell since I started. I bought a Dell when I moved out here to Chicago after I, was done with high school, and right away started recording on that. And since then, I've kind of grown up, but I'm still on a Dell. I still use PC. I love it. At the end of the day, my sound sounds, just as good as somebody on a Mac. So I think the platform isn't really entirely important, but we'll speculate on that a little bit more in a
Yeah,
second.
we will.
An honorable mention, though, is that Ableton Live is a great program to
Absolutely.
use if you are more into remixing and DJing and sampling and stuff like that.
Arguably so.
It's arguable, but it is an honorable mention. I mean, I know
Sure.
none of us here per se use it intensively. I've heard.
Actually, I do quite a bit.
Oh,
yeah, we
and
just
I'm
got Live
I'm on
6.
Pro Tools. I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like it is a program that like if you are more interested in sample and electronic based music and those kind of funkier effects, it's something to look into. So.
I think, Sam's question specifically was about should he buy a really high-end sound card or should he buy something that comes stock from the manufacturer?
Definitely not that.
no,
second
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah, the like you could buy like a Sound Blaster Audigy or something like that,
Don't
or
do
even
that.
higher end from Dell or from the other PC manufacturer, but you don't want to do
serious.
that.
Yeah, you're not gonna do
basically
that.
because you're not going to get good conversion. You're not, and probably the most notable issue is you're not going to get good I/O. You're not going to have preamps in that sound card. You're not going to have what you need to connect to your guitar or connect a mic or anything like that from what comes stock on your system, no matter how much you spend directly from the manufacturer.
Yeah, the analog sections on those cards, they're on a PCI card, a circuit board, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Not good for analog equipment. I mean, a lot of that stuff will be on boards, even with the higher end prosumer models like the Motus and things like that. But they're going to be designed better. I mean, the thing that you want is discrete analog sort of stuff, kind of like Apogee.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really expensive. So I would say, like, you definitely want to go with something. I would recommend something FireWire or USB based.
Absolutely.
If you want to do something, multi-channel outputs, multi-channel inputs, which you may or may not want to do at the time, you probably want to go with FireWire. But yeah, definitely stay away from the sound cards that Dell tries to sell you or anyone like that. I mean, honestly, they make pretty good computers, and what you're going to want to do is kind of strip them down a little bit, make all the things that come standard turn off.
That's
Except for
very
the stuff that
important.
you need.
And I like what you say about FireWire and USB. Having external devices helps a lot. Internal cards tend to get a lot of more interference from the hard drives and other parts of the computer. So having it further away from the computer helps. And as you say, tweaking your system so that it works great. Like, let me tell you a quick little story. When we got the HP, it came with XP Media. And I don't know if anybody out there has worked with that OS. It doesn't work for audio recording. It just doesn't work.
I think
so we had to hammer the machine and start over with
I'm going to weigh in for a second. Wiki
for that to
wah.
work.
We've got a bunch more questions.
I know.
Sam, to go through.
I know we got a bunch of questions. I'm just going to try to simplify this because we threw a lot at him. All right. The thing is that you want to stay away from stock PC cards because you're not going to get the best sound quality or the IOs that you want. A lot of times manufacturers do bundle software with their already, packaged USB or
That's true.
FireWire devices. Those are the popular ones, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. You can still get a PCI card-based interface. Motu makes them, so does M-Audio. These are good interfaces. And then you will have something that gets started. Something that's notable to look into, though, on the lower end, if you're on a budget, Pro Tools makes the M-Box. There's also the Sapphire from Focusrite.
It's great.
So Sapphire LE.
Yeah, Sapphire LE from Focusrite's a great starter unit. Lexicon makes a good one, too. And these are some pointers to get you in the right direction. You definitely want something that is going to fix that. Kind of stay away from manufacturers that don't normally specialize in this sort of arena, like Tascam, creative,
Right.
right. Alesis, a lot of these other manufacturers, they may be good as an entry level price point, but they're not going to be giving you the quality. So the few extra dollars.
You've been doing it for so long, you wouldn't want to just invest in something like that.
Nah.
Well, I tell you what, we've got 3 more questions from Sam.
There's one more thing I wanted to address in that. He asked how much RAM. A gig of RAM.
At least.
At least.
That's
As much
coming
as
up.
possible, really.
Oh yeah. Okay.
No matter if you're running PC or Mac. Most Macs come standard with 512. You're going to want to buy a little gig chip because it comes with 256 things, and those are all the slots, and they're all used up. So you're going to have to pull one out, put a gig in there, and then you could keep the 256 in there. But that's on the Mac side. On the PC side, if you build your own or get it custom made from Dell, you can probably get it pre-installed with that RAM.
I don't know, Hillary.
Sam,
what do you think?
Hillary Clinton's
In the
front of
background.
us and behind
Freaking
us.
robot, man. Look at her.
Answers.
So, Sam, I'd like to actually invite you to something. I'd like to.
We've lost Britain.
Yeah, we did lose.
He's gone after Hillary.
Okay, anyway, so Sam, I'd like to invite you to something. We got a couple more questions from you, but before we get into those, I wanted to invite you that if you're interested, to send us, the computer you're looking at getting. We can help you customize that. We'll take a look at it, give you some recommendations based on, the options that you have, and kind of walk you through that. And if you're comfortable with that, we'll share that with the Crosstalk audience later.
Absolutely.
Robo.
Moving on to the next questions. Here we go. Mac or PC?
Cut 'em off.
What are the pros and cons of the various software packages? Mac or PC? Software on Mac or PC?
I
Not
got something to
performance
say.
of the hardware, but software.
Wait.
between the two
I have one
platforms.
major thing to say, and I'm not guilty of this myself, but my friends tell me that it's a lot more difficult.
I need clarification here.
Well.
All right. Software packages on a Mac or PC. Are you talking about stock, like what comes with? Because
No,
like
no.
iTunes.
What software is
under-
available for Mac or PC?
Oh, all right.
Well, here's all I have to say. This is the big deciding point nowadays from what I hear. It's much more difficult to use cracked programs and cracked plugins on a Mac than it is on a PC. Not that I use that. Like I mentioned, I use PC.
Let's not
Has
talk
nothing
about
to do
the
with that reason at
illegality,
all, but that's something that you may want to contemplate thinking about if you're going to purchase.
Mac is what? Less than what? 10% of the market for computers.
PCs? I don't know.
I don't remember what.
Yeah,
the number
but
is,
what's their holding for the audio market? Like it's
for the media.
35% of Gearwire traffic. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
There you
impressive.
go. That's
Yo,
good
but
to me.
Rob, do you have a number about like actual people who use audio programs on Macs versus PCs?
74%.
You just made that up. Well, what?
74%?
All right, no, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so
That's good.
So it's,
you heard it here. 74%.
so it's significantly more.
Personally, I feel Macs are a lot better, though.
Oh, I'm on the loose now. You put me in public. It's your fault.
Now, Rob, was that 74% of people use Mac or 74% of people use PC, or does it not really matter?
Do you have a point?
Well,
Wait.
I have my
What does
opinion.
Steve Albini use?
Heroin.
That's good. Does he use and endorse it like in the Big
That's
Black
from off
record?
the camera.
As far as legal,
Dan take this question away, answer it, and then we'll move on to the next one.
as far as well.
Wait,
as far as
Rob,
what's
I got another
available-
question.
As far as what's available on Mac and PC, there's a lot more open source stuff available on PC. If you're really into like, getting weird, making different sounds, getting experimental, PC's definitely the way to go. There's a few things going on with Mac, like Apple TV's been, being used as a hack instrument and things like that. But I would say, I mean, of course, I'm biased because I'm
No.
I have a history of a PC guy.
You're right on the money.
But Macs do run a bit stable right out of the box.
Yep.
PCs you got to mess with. You got to
That's
you
absolutely
got
right.
to kind of know how to work them.
You got to be computer savvy to know how to tweak the OS
exactly.
properly.
If you don't want, if you're scared of computers, get a Mac. I mean, even then, it's not going to be perfect. But
I'm going to make a segue from that into the next question, which is related, which is essentially about software and sample library languages like VST versus RTAS, etc.
These are just wrappers.
He says, you're always talking about sample libraries and plugins and stuff made by third parties. Does that stuff usually work with multiple recording applications? Just one of them? If I wanted to take a full advantage of the kind of weird things you guys talk about and can download from people, does that mean that I should get, say, Cakewalk rather than Pro Tools?
Can I handle this one?
Yes, you can.
Go for
Brit.
it.
Pro Tools.
As long as you handle it correctly and like a
Sanely.
baby.
I'm actually going to get serious for a second. On this.
Okay.
Okay. Pro Tools, which is RTAS and TDM, all right, is a very closed source plugin. It's not open to a lot of third-party developers unless you get the proper issuing license and development rights and whatever. It's just not a flexible system. All the weird stuff we talk about and all the open party stuff we talk about is not really available for Pro Tools and not too available for audio units. VST is kind of where it's at to get those weird free plugins and all that other stuff because it's used across multiple DAWs. So it's definitely going to be something that's more to your advantage if you're more interested in experimenting. Now, if you want things that are I guess the wrappers are more stable, it's more prestigious to have, then you'd go Pro Tools. But the sound's not going to change. It's not going to be one of those things that you're going to get a different sound from an RTAS plugin to a VST plugin. They're just wrappers.
And most big people, like plugin makers, Native Instruments, Waves, you buy this stuff, you get
All of
the
them.
RTAS, DXI,
Audio unit.
and VST.
Yeah,
You get all of them.
I need to stress the importance, though, about what a wrapper is. All right, a wrapper is nothing more than a coating that makes the plugin work with the DAW. It's not something that's big and scary. It's just a technical term that describes what it interfaces to in relation to a certain DAW specific brand. So, I mean, it's not going to really matter on a grand scheme of things. But if you want something more flexible, then I would definitely look into VST or DXI.
It's like the damn Sahara
right.
off camera over there.
All right.
All right, next
So
question.
last question.
Was that-
Let's
was
say
that
I already
adequate?
have a
I
bunch
wasn't
of
listening.
instruments.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was listening.
What do you think, Hillary
but-
Clinton?
I usually tune out. Let's say I already have a bunch of instruments and microphones and a decent computer. What else do I need to buy? How much more quality do I get when I spend $1,000 rather than $2,000 on that stuff? So he's
Preamps.
acting about signal processing.
Preamps, compressors. I recommend the best thing, once you have all that stuff, the best thing to add to your system is some way to sort of sweeten the sound after you mix. Some sort of, and usually the best way to do that is analog.
Here.
Get a stereo compressor, a stereo equalizer, and run your mix through it, or mix through it. And I think that's really important. Another thing is, I mean, or you could approach it differently and stay in the box and get a very nice
sir.
plugin sort of suite, like the UAD stuff, TC Electronic stuff, that runs on something outboard, so it saves resources. Something like Focusrite Liquid Channel, SSL Duende, if you want to spend a lot more money. So you could either go like get more hardware outboard processing, or you can stay in the box and get high quality plugins. It is very important to get high quality plugins. You know, we talk about all these low cost and free and open source created plugins. A lot of them just don't sound professional. And you know, you could use them creatively and stuff, but really getting high quality plugins is like the easiest way to while staying in the box, which is a lot simpler for most studio guys these days. It's a good way to sort of increase the level that you're working at, increase the quality of your output.
I think to start, a good idea of something to pick up would be, like a channel strip. You can get a decent channel strip. A lot of people make them. Just something with a lot of processing that you can use on a few different applications. Like, if you're miking guitar cabinet, if you're miking a vocal, things like that. Things that are optimized towards, those kind of things. And they'll include everything.
And we're talking something outboard that has a mic preamp.
Yes. A compressor
or dynamic
maybe even
section,
an EQ.
And possibly an EQ.
Right.
And what you're going to want that for is when you're doing vocals, you want to limit the vocals coming in a bit.
Right.
It'll make it sound like more like you're used to hearing on a record.
Absolutely.
Also, it'll let you use more of those bits on your converters.
Mm-hmm.
So a higher level is generally better, and that helps you achieve that without clipping. So yeah, I think that's a real good suggestion.
All right. Well, yeah, Sam, like I said, if you want us to give you some more pointers about the system you're going to build, take a look at a few computers, send them to us. We'll take a look at them on the air, and we'll talk about them, and we'll give you some pointers on what we think might make sense, might make the most sense for you. So there you go.
Britton, did you have something to add to that?
Dude, no, it's not even important. We got time issues
back.
to deal with, man.
Time issues?
No, I was about to say. Wait.
Yeah.
I was about to say, in all seriousness, though, like, we're talking about analog versus digital, preamps, plugins.
Did you guys see
stuff
that new
like
Sonic commercial? Have you seen that commercial, Rob?
Which one is that?
Man, fuck
No.
this shit, dog.
The Sonic commercial where the guys at the
cracking up.
drive-thru.
That's number 2.
Wait. The guys at the drive-thru, and these guys talking about analogies. Yeah, like, no, yeah, like, no, what I was saying to you was an analogy. You know what that is, right? He's like, yeah, it's before digital. It's a funny.
That's somewhat related.
All right, let's just move on. I didn't have much something really important.
Okay,
to say,
sorry,
but
Britton.
It's okay.
All right, let's check out
Not
this
like
guitar.
anybody
All right,
listening
so
anyway.
moving right along, we've got a.
It's a Gibson Blues King.
Oh, look at this. Look at this.
I'm a little sketchy on exactly the model number, but it'll come up, right here as usual.
It's an L00
L00 type
Blues King.
guitar.
It's
Here,
the
hold
Blues
his
King
thing
small
up there.
body guitar. It comes with a gig bag.
I'm gonna get down and Mike Drew.
This is a interesting situation we have here.
Should I pour myself a beer before I Mike Drew?
Here, what? Yeah, do that.
Okay.
I'll hold one mic,
if you have a
Okay.
1/4 inch,
and then you hold the mic up to Drew's thing, and I'll hold your mic up to your mouth.
if you have a 1/4 inch cable, you can just DI.
Stereo.
Hey Rob, do you have a 1/4 inch cable?
So Mike is taking a break and taking a look at the Pistons game.
That was the biggest mess. Maybe I should just shut up whenever I'm trying to answer. Maybe I should just shut up whenever I'm trying to answer questions.
So this guitar is sort of styled after the old style blues guitars. What era was that?
1930s, actually.
1930s.
Early 30s.
Very early 30s.
Up to the 1950s. Be nice.
It's sort of a jazz, or not jazz, blues style. It's got like a kind of a dark sound to it. It's kind of weird.
It's a parlor guitar.
Yeah, a small parlor-sized guitar. It's not going to give you like that huge sound that you're expecting from a lot of guitars. Although it may sound fairly huge right now because we got this directional mic on it, and we're getting some nice proximity effect. But what do you think of the sound, Drew?
I actually really like this guitar. I have to mention something real quick. I have an original 1932, I believe, Gibson L-00, which looks virtually the same as this guitar. Of course, it's 75 years old, so it's beat to hell. And the wood has really gotten a lot drier, a lot lighter over the years. So seeing this guitar and playing this guitar for the first time was a delight for me because it's virtually the same guitar that I have, except brand new. And there are some minor differences to it. The finish, I think, is a lot thicker than the originals, and perhaps the ply as well, because this guitar feels a lot heavier than the original one that I have. But it's virtually the same. The only comments I can make are the tuning heads could be a little bit bigger. Other than that, as well, I'll let Britton get to what he thinks about it in a minute. But it's virtually the same guitar that I have, except not aged, and it's a delight to actually play a guitar that is very, very, very similar.
So for those who like them young,
Yeah, exactly. I love
gross.
this guitar. I really do. I have to admit.
I don't want to.
I really like how it plays. Actually, it's just real smooth, easy on the fingers.
The frets are a little bit smaller than what you'd expect, which is actually kind of nice.
The sound is a little closed up, but that kind of goes with, the type of guitar. It's a reissue of sorts.
I'll tell you, if this guitar is anything like the original, it'll change tone quite a bit over the years.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I bet, because it's got the heavier finish on it.
Yeah.
Most guitars that have finish like that.
And you know what? The
will
original
change sound.
problems with these guitars are that they were built with such light plywood, and they were built with such a light finish that over the years they started to deteriorate, and most of them are gone these days. Mine survived. It's a miracle it did. Somebody back in the 50s put nylon strings on it, and that's the only reason why it's still alive today. The lack of tension from the nylon strings to the steel strings are what kept it alive today. So I still keep nylon strings on it so that it doesn't fall apart.
Gotcha.
Keep the tension low.
But it's a great guitar that they built, but they didn't really necessarily build the originals to last. This one, when I look at it and play it and feel it, it's built to last. So I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten some not so great reviews on certain sites. And actually, the guy that ordered this for us, Patrick Ogle, who does a lot of the artist features for us, he doesn't like it much. I think it's okay. It's a sound it's a unique sound.
It's very particular.
It's also got a pickup on it. There's really no controls for it, and they're, I think, a bit closed up. I did plug it in. We'll review this guitar later and review its pickups. It's a little just dark sounding. A lot of 400, 300 hertz.
Yeah.
Just kind of building up.
That's exactly the way mine is over abbreviated, so to speak. Now. But that, like you mentioned, it's a very particular tone. So if you're into blues and or even bluegrass per se, that sort of kind of tone would very much complement your style of music. Okay. But if you're looking for a straight ahead warm acoustic, this is not what you're going for.
Or if you're into black metal, just buy an electric guitar.
It's true. So we hear just a little bit more of it?
For sure. Nice.
I'm just going to point out.
For the rest of it.
No, I'm just going to point out some things for it.
Sure.
Right on. Oh. Be stock.
All right. Well. Yeah, sure.
Who wants a refurbished Gibson?
This is amazing.
Anyways, I'm not going to really play it as much as Drew here, just to point out some things about this particular guitar and things that you would want to look out for when that's happening. The nut has been cut kind of funny. All right, this the high E, all right, has been cut a little close to the edge of the actual neck of the guitar. So when you try to bend, it'll actually fall off the actual fretboard. So you cannot bend that way, which is common in these style of guitars, actually. I guarantee if you play, most of these, and it's common in Gibson guitars where the neck has been cut, the nut has been cut weird and set up weird so that this one can only be bent up instead of down, which is common. This is modeled after guitars that people like Robert Johnson like to play. They're small, dark, usually made of darker woods, not something like a maple. They're good. They're not really built to last though. Not even this one. I mean, it's a light guitar. It's a student model even for an $1,000 plus guitar. It's still kind of the higher end of the student guitars. It's very travel friendly. You know what I mean? It's still very light.
It travels.
Yeah, it travels well. But you can tell that these newer reissues have a plastic bridge. where they probably put the piezo pickup, and it just doesn't have the same sustain.
What'd be fun is actually doing kind of a shootout between my original and this one.
That would be cool.
I would have to throw steel strings on it.
I don't know about that.
I'll do it for one day, because I did put steel strings on it one day. And man, it sounded unbelievable.
Nice.
It sounded a lot deeper than that one. But it would be kind of cool to kind of shoot them out. It would be cool to document the original too, before it gets too old.
Yeah. All right.
But it has a very nice rich tone.
Yeah.
It is darker. It's darker than actually most parlor guitars, and that's what kind of weirds me out about it. Is it definitely has a deeper cut sounding. So I mean, like when you, it's not as brassy as the older ones. If you listen to
That's what I kind of was surprised about, because they were just, I think what I could be way off, but it seems to me that they were just trying to modify a good design, so it would.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to like mine, they took some precautions to make it last longer than mine did or is.
Yeah.
and the harmonics are not cut as well either.
All right. So, as you know, or as we hope you know, this is our 31st episode. And as Dan and I were talking earlier, and as Rob came, thank you. And as Rob came in, the 25 is like the silver edition, 50 is like the gold edition, and 100 is like platinum. Well, 31 is a very important number, and that was, what was that, Rob? Gravel. 31 is the gravel episode of Crosstalk.
You expect 30. You don't.
That's
expect
why we're here
31.
at the bar drinking. Exactly.
Speaking of drinking,
Speaking of drinking, I'll actually, Dan, could you do that? Well,
Teamwork.
I'll hold
Kyle,
it.
you need a drink?
I'm gonna pour it right
You're
over.
already
You got
spilling.
something up your sleeve. I can smell it.
As much
be all
head
head.
as you can possibly get. There you
What
go.
kind of drink is? If my
How's
dad,
that?
if my
Sorry, I
dad sees
can't
this
pour it.
episode, I'm gonna be.
That's all head, dude.
I like head.
Anyway, we are in Boys Town. Watch how loud you say that.
Is this?
I feel safe.
I know this is the solace of Boys Town. But oh, by the way, this guy right here, face the cameras. This is Kyle. You guys never get to see Kyle, but Kyle is the producer of this show. He's the guy behind the cameras. He does an excellent job.
Ain't he handsome?
Thanks for sharing, bro.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Kyle. So anyway, the last part of our little show here, we're going to do some reminiscing and play a clip from decades past, from a long time ago when we were, even before we did video. And this is what, our 10th episode?
That's a good question. It's 11th.
11th. That's even better. That's like the aluminum episode.
Oh damn! I was like
Might be
15 years
10.
old.
I'm
back
not
then.
So,
But anyway, it was really funny because we didn't have video, and now we have video.
Right.
And the reason I'm bringing this back is because this is the only one that we could kind of transfer to video. Because you guys remember my little cousin Harold, right?
I remember Harold like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Harold, I don't remember
I was
Harold.
taking care of him at the
Your
time.
priest
and
remembers Harold.
I brought him to work.
Oh, Harold, of course.
I brought him into the studio, and he was a really good kid, sitting
He
there
was
real
hiding
quiet.
behind that Schecter guitar, wasn't he?
He was behind the Schecter guitar, exactly.
Huh.
It's funny.
And
He looks kind of like a Schecter
he's
guitar.
shaped like a Schecter guitar.
Yes, exactly. I was
But-
just going to say that.
Anyway, he's being real quiet, real cool. We put him on phones so he could hear what's going on. I just thought he was like drawing like little pictures. He was
Right.
actually drawing us.
He was illustrating the show.
He was illustrating the show. Like, well, I mean,
Wow.
not on purpose.
Were we on
Just
trial
drawing
or
what he was
something, or
saying.
what the hell?
No, he's a very
It's like that
artistic
freaky.
Why are you
kid.
paranoid, Drew?
It's like
the first time.
It's like that freaky kid from The Sixth Sense.
Here, I put together sort of a montage of all of Harold's
Okay.
drawings. So let's take a look at
Let's
it.
see what Harold's got.
And you can change the chord that they're playing, so to kind of get a chord progression. The problem is that once again the timbre changes when you're going from one to the other, and also the tempo will change by a few BPM. So it's audibly just off, off where it should be.
That guitar doesn't sound like a guitar.
No, it's a sampled guitar, so it's the same basic attack no matter how you hit the key. But yeah, once again, what I think this instrument does well is the percussion, like those hand claps.
Yeah, they do
I don't know
sound
where
great.
else
I
you
like
could
the
get
panning
that.
too.
Yeah, I don't know where else you could
Yeah,
get
those hand claps, like
Yeah.
the castanets.
Yeah, the
Those
castanets
are
were-
awesome, man. I would totally use the heck out of that thing right there.
Hey, I said something positive. Mark it down. It's a banner year.
We'll record that and add that to the sampler next week.
Let's check out maybe the Australian patch. I haven't checked that
All
one
right.
out.
It's loading.
All right, there we go.
Sweet.
There's a didgeridoo.
Next time I want to make a massive attack record, I got it right here.
And they got a Jew harp or a mouth harp to you politically correct lot.
Wacky Aussies.
Breathe in, breathe out.
That's pretty jamming.
It's totally like what Massive Attack would use.
Let's check out. One thing I definitely wanted to show you guys was the balalaika double bass. So I'm going to stop the fun really quick. All right.
Hey, we were making a hit, man.
Did you guys like that? That was my cousin Harold.
Why am I breathing fire and why do I have demon wings?
It was his interpretation of what was going on.
Wait, you guys don't see the demon wings?
How old, he's 31, which is really ironic because he's our 30. He's a kid at heart.
He's
you know?
pretty small
Okay.
for 31, you know?
Yeah,
That's the smallest Schecter-looking 31-year-old I've ever seen.
He's got a few problems, but
Mother
he's a
Schecter.
good kid, and he's real creative, as you guys just saw.
Mother Schecter.
I heard he got out of Bellevue a couple weeks ago.
You heard nothing of the sort.
All right.
He tried to
that
kill
was
his
fun.
nanny.
I enjoyed that. That was a
Yeah,
nice little
I mean-
reminiscing. We're going to do plenty more of that on the episodes to come. On every X1 and X6 episode, we'll do some reminiscing. Whether it's a bar or not, we'll do that.
I miss having the non-video a little bit.
Yeah, it was nice.
I like the video.
And I could wear whatever I,
do.
wanted.
We should
I
bring-
didn't like it at first, but
You know, I
do
mean,
Like,
do
You
you
got a
think
face
we should bring Harold?
made for radio,
bring
Drew.
Harold.
Thanks, Britton. You too, buddy.
you have
All
a
right.
voice for silent movies.
Oh, I know.
Sounds like a diminished
So
quote.
anyway, that concludes our lovely episode 31 of Crosstalk Shower program. Thanks
that's
everybody
fine.
for watching.
That's cool.
Thanks for joining us at the bar.
The
Just
Town
want to
Hall
cheer you
Pub.
guys. The Town Hall
Cheers.
Pub. Thanks
From
again
Chicago.
for having us. Cheers everybody.
Cheers.
31.
See you next episode.
Big 3-1.